You can't take everyone with you. And one of the hardest things for me was that every time I succeeded, I wanted everyone to go with me.
Yeah.
I wanted to take my family with me, my friends with me, everyone who was associated with me. And I would find myself eventually being anchored by the relationships that I was trying to move forward. And one of the most painful things I had to discover is not everyone wants to go where you're going. The reason there are people who live in Wyoming and Idaho and North Dakota and South Dakota is not everyone made it to California.
Yeah, right.
Everyone was going to California, but not everyone decided to keep going. And you just have to accept some people want to live in Cheyenne. Some people want to live in Sioux Falls. Some people want to live in Des Moines. And if you're going all the way to the West Coast, you can't try to drag everyone with you. And the reality is that if you have a mindset that success is bringing everyone with you, you will actually limit how much you will accomplish in your life. You will have to accept the fact that if you're going to keep elevating and growing and changing, your friend set is going to change over a lifetime. If you're an alcoholic and you have a lot of drinking buddies, they're only going to want to be your buddy as long as you're a drinking buddy. The moment you get sober, you're going to have to make a choice. They're going to either pull you back in or you're going to have to pull yourself out.
Yeah.
In the same way that you have to change drinking buddies, you have to change underachieving buddies. If you're an underachiever and you're not driven toward excellence or success or some level of greatness, the moment you decide to change, all your underachieving buddies are going to be unhappy with you.
Yeah.
Because you're changing the rules of the relationship. The friendships begin to change. And so you have to begin to decide, am I going to keep my underachieving buddies or am I going to elevate and allow the people who want to elevate to go with me?
I think a lot of people too get really scared about that for multiple reasons, but one of them being that there's like, oh, I'm too nice and I don't want to tell them blah, blah, blah. And I always kind of look at that. I'm just like, well, I don't think you're going to have to say anything.
Yeah.
I just think that if you are moving down this path and they're continuing down this path, what happens over time is just this natural separation where you're just going to find yourself being with this group of friends more often rather than this group of friends.
Yeah. And sometimes the indictment is you've changed.
Yes.
But really what they don't want to say that's actually true is you've grown. Because if you're going to grow, you're going to change.
You have to change.
You have to change.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I was in a conversation with someone that I really love and admire, and they said to me, wow, you've really changed. And they said it as an insult. And I felt it, and I wanted to say, no, I haven't. And then I took some time to reflect on it. And I called them back and I said, you're right.
Yeah.
I've really changed.
Yes.
And in a year, I'm going to really change again. In a year, I'm going to change some more.
Right.
And I just turned 65 and I'm still changing. I feel myself growing. I'm more curious, more imaginative, more risk-taking, more excited about life than I've ever been my whole life. And frankly, I don't have a lot of 65-year-old friends because they do not want to engage life with the same level of intensity.
Interesting.
When I was 50, all my friends who were leaders and ran organizations at 50 came to me and said, hey, Erwin, it's time for all of us to pass on the torch. And we need to move into like our mentor sage time of life. And I just looked at them and I said, you're out of your mind. I've just started to set myself on fire.
Yeah.
I'm just beginning to pioneer. I'm now moving to my most creative self. So I can tell you, every decade of my life, I've lost friends because they all began landing the plane. I'm not landing the plane.
Yeah.
I'm building a new plane while I'm still flying.
Exactly.
And you have to decide in your life what kind of environment you want to create and let people decide for themselves if they want to be in that environment.